Good evening, sir.
Hello, good evening, man
Evening.
of God.
Wow, finally.
Finally,
Finally. So sorry
finally,
about last
we're
week. It
here.
was something else. So last week you were talking about you before you were to move to the main topic for the day. So maybe we can begin from there.
Okay, for the sake of people who
Yes.
were not here last,
Last
yeah.
week, exactly.
Right. My name is Ezekiah Udwola. I'm a Nigerian. Yeah, yeah. Living in Lagos presently. Well, I live in Lagos, but I work all over the world.
Oh, wow.
So
Wow, great.
okay, so I'm a minister of the gospel, um, preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ, using music as a medium and the saxophone as a tool.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah, shortly put, I play the saxophone,
Okay.
and by the grace of God, I've been privileged to meet and work closely with a lot of artists.
Okay.
Yeah, some very known ones. I don't know if I can mention
Yes,
names here, you know.
please, if you
And,
want.
okay, some very known ones. Some, and God is still bringing them out.
Okay.
Okay, so well, I've worked with Sinach.
Wow, you don't mean
Did
it.
did did some production, studio live recording. Yeah, live recording, ministrations with there's a particular song which is blessing lives all over the world. You are awesome in this place.
Yeah.
You are awesome in this place,
Yeah.
faithful God.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. I did the intro in that song is an old
Ah,
video. So
okay.
when I still look at myself, I say, "Wow, is this
God
me?
is
I look
faithful.
so." you know,
Wow, that's
those were the days when the jackets, you see the jacket, but the person wearing the jacket, you're like, who is this? Where's this person? you
wow, God is
know,
faithful.
and God is faithful. And when you see Sinach also in that video, like, wow, God is faithful.
Mm,
So
wow.
those were the beginning days, of our um, coming out production. That was our first
Okay.
concert, and I was privileged to by God to work with her and
Wow.
and
That's
bless life
mm,
with that.
mm.
Also, okay, maybe I should just mention some few people I've worked with, so that by the
Yes,
time we
please.
go deep into the topic today, we know why some of those things need to be
Yeah.
discussed. Okay, with Sinach, I did some work. I'm still working with her.
Okay.
Also, Joe Praise,
Oh, wow.
yes, did did numerous songs with him. With Joe Praise is a very wonderful man of
Wow.
God.
Wow.
Very wonderful man of God. I mean,
Wow.
um, he's a man of God on and off stage. I
Mm.
can say that because I've moved closely with him in a circle, and so he's a very good person. He's a very good person. He's a good Christian.
Okay. I think, well, that's fair enough. Yes. That's a
Yeah,
good
so
one.
yeah, that's a good one. So I did a couple of songs with him. Unchangeable, reliable.
Reliable.
Only you can
Yeah.
do.
Oh,
What's
wow.
you
Okay.
can do.
That's
There's a sax
beautiful.
solo there. Did the sax solo in that song. Um, then the last concert he did, Preservation, I was privileged also to work with him. This
Preservation.
was 20, yes, this was, what year was Preservation? 2019? Yes, I think that was before COVID.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah,
I think I heard about that. Good evening, Mr.
yeah.
Vitalis. To welcome, sir. They are coming out now. Thank you so much for joining us. Wow, preservation. Okay, okay,
Preservation, yes.
okay.
Preservation
Wow.
was was life-changing, life-changing concert. Till tomorrow, people people are still calling in to ask when are we going to have another
Uh,
preservation, and every section was amazing. One of the highlights of that concert for me, I need to mention
mm,
this, because what we do, it's spiritual,
yeah,
highly spiritual.
yeah, sure.
It's not like we're reading a script to do some of these things we do.
Mm,
So we depend solely on the Holy Spirit, for guidance, for
yes.
inspiration, and 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 empowerment to do what we do. One of the highlights in that concert was a um, a short section of spontaneous worship.
Okay.
Okay, it wasn't rehearsed. We didn't rehearse it,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
that,
I
moment
understand.
was the break was something as the Holy Spirit took over everything. I have a friend in Zambia. I'm sure probably he's watching. Till tomorrow. Last week, he still sent me a clip of it. He said, "Ezekiah, I can't still get over this session.
Wow.
This session." And moments like that humbles me, gives me joy that um, what you are doing is blessing
Mm,
life, is blessing
yeah.
life. So I'll come. We'll still come to that in the course of the discussion. So with Joe Praise, I did a couple of songs. Also with Chris Shalom,
Oh,
yes,
wow.
got featured in some of his songs. Yes, this song, Great Bigger. Yes, that's the title of the song.
Bigger.
Bigger.
Okay.
We did that. Yeah, Bigger. Did that a few years back. So did some songs with Chris Shalom.
Okay.
Also with Daddy B, who you know as Buchi.
Ah, okay. When
It
you
is
said Daddy B, I'm like, who
it
is
is
that?
it is yeah. Well, that's what we call him.
Oh, okay, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Wow,
So the word know
that's
him as
beautiful.
Buchi. So you know, did a lot. I can't count the number of songs I've done with
Wow, beautiful. Oh,
Minister Steve.
before you go
Yeah,
on,
yeah.
James Ukala, hey, you better take your time. We are waiting for you now. He's telling you, a man of
James,
God, you are blessed. You come and be blessed. Come and be blessed. Come, come, come.
James, come in.
Okay, so I wanted to ask before you move on, please.
Yeah,
What's your preference? Where do you think you express the more, or which would you prefer, digital or analog performance? Digital or analog? Would you prefer working or playing in the studio? Do you feel, because I ask everybody when I remember to that come on this program, which they prefer, because some people actually, well, I don't want to answer the question for you, so let me hear. Let me hear.
okay. Let me be honest, very honest. Okay. Well, I enjoy working both.
The
Okay,
both cannot be the
let me get
same.
the question. Let me get the question
The
straight.
percentage cannot be the same.
Yeah,
Personally, I think
yeah.
I feel more free and more expressive on the stage. I
Live,
do
when
vocals
you're
live when
ministering live.
I'm ministering live compared to you singing in the
Yes,
studio. That for me, that box there is sort of boxing my expression. It boxes because you have a time frame, you have
yes.
a way you have to tilt your head, you have a certain position. So I just feel too restricted in a position.
Okay,
Yeah, that is why I'm asking. Some
okay.
people will tell
Yeah.
you there are some people that are not really good in the box, but when you put them on stage, they're fire, you
Okay, let
know.
let me tell you my experience. Well, okay, before I tell you my experience, I said both. I enjoy both. Okay, but I didn't start that way. When I say I enjoy both, okay, now if when I'm on stage, I I can express myself. I can fully express myself, and I can connect. I feel why most people choose stage. Probably you also you chose stage because you can connect with your audience, right?
Okay.
You
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
connect to the people you're ministering to.
Yes.
Okay, you can connect with the band. You you are in charge of the music, of the band, of the audience, and
Okay.
everything. So you feel lively. You feel live. That's why they call it live.
Life.
You feel
Yes. I
alive.
feel
All
you.
right. You feel
Yeah.
alive. So that is why you feel that, hey, Mr. James,
Hola.
this man,
It's finally
Finally.
here.
Good evening. I'm enjoying your story.
finally,
Yes.
finally.
Yeah, it's here.
Good to be
Welcome.
here. I'm sorry
Welcome.
I'm late today. Yeah,
Yeah,
please. I'm so
it's
sorry.
fine.
Hope I'm forgiven.
Of
It's fine.
course.
It's fine. I'm happy James. I'm happy James is here. We shared a couple of times on stage together,
Yeah.
and that spontaneous creativity. Do you understand?
Wow.
Now I might be playing with James, and he will play something. I'm like, whoa, I like that thing you play, and I'll repeat the same
Oh,
thing with him. And before you
oh,
know it, we've created like a song within the music.
wow.
We have a lot of experiences of that playing with Righteous Man. Righteous Man is a gospel
Yeah,
reggae artist.
I know him. I've been to the studio in Benin
You know him?
at the time. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah. I know his
oh
wife.
my
She's my friend
goodness, you
too.
know him.
I can see
Ah,
her. She was one of our
yeah,
guests at some
yeah,
time.
you
Yeah. She
see,
was one of our guests too.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, she's been here
ah,
before. Carol C.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Amazing minister of God,
Amazing.
righteous man,
Mm,
the wife,
mm,
Sister C, amazing, amazing,
Beautiful people.
amazing.
Mm.
So when you're performing live, okay, James, we're talking about which one,
I
she asked which one would I prefer, live,
live or
live,
studio.
stage. And yes, and I answered, I said both of them, but it didn't start that way. Okay. Now, because we grow into what we're doing, all right. Now, um, before anybody will actually feel comfortable performing live, like before you can be in control of the
Yeah.
music of the band, if you remember your first stage
No
performance,
way.
know how
No way.
you will have stage fright,
No
right?
way.
So,
But over time, you develop
Yeah.
that confidence.
Yeah.
Over time, you learn what to do, how to communicate with the crowd, how to control the band. Do you
Yeah.
understand? Despite the fact that we are ministering to God through music, we are also ministering to the people. Do you
Wow.
understand? Okay, so now most people would choose, live this, I prefer live compared to the
Mhm.
studio. Yes, I would choose live compared to the studio many years back, especially when I remember my first experience, my first studio experience. It was a disaster.
So there's a story to
I
tell.
remember that day. I remember that day. It was in a recording studio at Trem headquarters. Then I was a saxophonist. I played in Trem headquarters, Kagada, and someone had a recording and like, oh, Ezekiel, I would like you to come on. And I like, oh, sure, I play the saxophone. I'll come. And I came, and when it was time for me to record, I just couldn't get sound out of my saxophone. I was too scared. I didn't know where to start. I didn't know what. Eventually, I couldn't record anything.
Oh my God.
I was too embarrassed to even play to the music, you know. But I didn't allow that to stop me. So if you had asked me this question, that period, I would choose
Yeah,
live.
sure.
I've been playing in church. I've
Yeah,
been playing in
yeah.
church.
So that setting, you feel more comfortable around that setting.
I feel more
Yeah.
comfortable, in front of thousands of people. This was Trem
Wow,
headquarters
that's a
in
lot.
Lagos, Bishop Mike
Wow,
Okonkwo's church.
wow.
So I wasn't scared of the crowd. I wasn't scared to play in front of the crowd. But why was I struggling with the studio section?
Yeah. I mean,
Because it's
Maybe,
just like you
maybe
said,
it's
it
the
was like
studio
I was.
monitors. Yeah, yeah. I mean, studio flex on the studio monitors.
oh my
Yes,
God.
yes.
Maybe.
You are alone
Mm,
in the booth. You are
mm,
alone, and
Yes.
all you had was the
ah,
headphone
mm.
and just
Or
yourself
you're for you. Or you're for you. Anything
or,
that you
or your.
do,
And they
anything
speak
you
For
pidgin.
do
those
is
who
on
don't know the meaning
you.
of Oyo,
Nobody
it's
to
on your own.
blame.
OYO.
Yes.
Mm.
Okay,
You know,
so
And they
before we
speak
go
pidgin
ahead,
English.
you
I wanted to
Yeah.
ask something. Someone put up something recently. Was it Shei Israel? I don't know if you know him. Shei Israel. So he put up something on his wall some days ago, and he said, "Hey, you musicians, must you do like run in a 5 minutes worship session? Why would you be running syncopations like 3 to 4 for a 5 minutes worship session? Just 5 minutes.
Very good.
Just quickly, maybe 1 or 2 minutes. What do you think about that? Because before we go into our main topic, of course, and I want Don Feb to ask you a question before you go.
Okay.
But then, do you think that is necessary? Because it really dawned on me. I'm like, yeah, that's actually true. Because when someone is serious in worship and expects that that um, atmosphere should be solemn for the environment, to just you start hearing you some play, some
Syncopation,
syncopation,
some
some
runs,
runs, riffs, creativity. Is it
ad-libs,
necessary?
dangerous
Yes.
ad-libs.
Is it necessary at
That
that
are not born
time?
again.
Why do you think instrumentalists do that? Why do you think so?
Do
Is
that.
it I don't know. What's on your mind? What's on you guys' mind? I don't get it.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I should. Maybe let me allow
Yes, he
James.
should. Yeah,
I'm sure
yeah,
he
yeah, he
has something
should.
to say about.
I feel with that. He should.
Good.
You should.
Ah, well, don't put you on spot. God will help me. Okay. The I think is they mustn't play all the riffs. So maybe I'll just go straight
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
at one side. They mustn't play all the riffs and all the syncopations, and what have you. They mustn't play it. So now there's what they call understanding the music. Of course, whoever that is leading, okay. Not everyone likes those things. Some artists they enjoy it. Okay, so it depends on which artist does like this. Okay, so for a reggae artist, I'm not sure they actually want so many riffs, but they want to have that reading. It moves them. All right. So
Okay.
for yeah, I'm just trying to pick different
Oh, nice.
points. Yeah. So like someone like Pastor Nat, he might not like all those things.
No, no,
Do you understand? So
no.
I think it's best. I mean, it's like I said, it's not it shouldn't run. It mustn't run all the
But
riffs that you've been learning for years into a song
don't you
into
think
five
it causes
minutes.
distractions? I'm talking about
So
worship now. During praise,
yeah.
all those things are necessary for me because it
Mm.
helps to, ginger people to dance and all that. But when it comes to worship, I'm talking basically about worship. Don't you think it causes a form of distraction or
So,
I don't know.
so for me, like I mean, I can only speak for myself. The way I want to interpret any song,
Okay.
either unscripted, scripted, wherever. So I actually want to interpret based on the atmosphere of the song. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't start maybe using my pitch bend on the keyboard when or not using it rightly. That's the word I should use. Not using it rightly
Mm.
when there's a worship going on. there's a way I can use it. It to
It's
connect
to
to the
blend.
you to
Yeah,
blend.
to
Yeah.
blend
So
well,
I always the
most
first the
times.
question first the person needs to first for me I want to first of all before I start playing for anyone or start playing in a church we're having worship, I must have done mine worship that God, yes, you've given me this gift, but use it for your own glory. Sometimes I ask myself some of the things I play during worship, I mean, is it necessary for me to play those runs or should I just stay? You know,
Yeah.
so
I think
there's
I
a
think
lot.
I
There's a
think it
lot that
yeah,
yeah.
I think it's honestly, if you ask me, I think it's better to just flow with the rhythm. You mustn't play it. I think was it you or somebody that came on live one time and said that the most professional instrumentalists or musicians are the most disciplined.
Mm.
You talked about, I think there's someone that came on and said, I think the person played for
Very true.
Don Juan. Everything is
Mm.
about
Very
discipline.
true.
Yeah.
Everything.
Very true.
You may know so much, but you just decide to hold back. Based on the song you are
Very
playing
true.
for, you have to understand the song at the time and
Yeah.
you follow accordingly. You mustn't
Accordingly.
display your
Very
artistry
No.
every time because you want people to know what you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can have your solo where you do all those things. But when it comes to worship, I
Mm.
think we should respect that
The
time
mood.
of worship.
Yeah.
Just,
Every music has different moods, so we should respect it. Just like you
yes.
rightly said. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
move with the mood. And that's,
Can I quickly share?
yes, please.
Sorry to cut you short.
Yeah, please.
Sorry. Can I quickly share my experience with somebody I met who changed my orientation about worship?
Okay.
I met um, I met an American saxophonist. His name is Todd Williams.
Mm.
You can check him
Okay.
up.
Okay.
As at 2002, when I met him, he
Mm.
was an associate professor
Oh.
in jazz.
Mm.
Mm.
As at 2002, he was an associate professor in jazz.
Wow.
This guy, this guy had played with the great Wynton Marsalis, was a trumpeter, a jazz
Mm.
trumpeter. He plays the tenor sax in his band. So when you talk about jazz music, he knows it all. He knows his onion there. You know, he's he was also the music director of Times Square Church in New York.
Mm.
Now, when we got talking, he said, "Oh, I like your sound," and I asked him some questions. We got talking, and he was showing me some things. This, and he mentioned something. He said, "We're talking about worship
Yeah.
now." Okay, I'll come back to what he told me. First, I just want to put this, let's understand that worship is not, we not just playing. Worship is not a slow song.
Yeah.
Worship is not like R&B kind of. The tempo can be mid-tempo, it can be, as long as it's
Right.
worship. So which means we are ministering to God and ministering to the people.
Sure.
Sorry.
Do you understand? So now putting 5 syncopations in the music. First thing you ask yourself, will this is this necessary in this music? Will it distract the people I'm trying to lead in the presence of God? Now, Todd Williams told me something. He said, Ezekiah, when you play, and within a song as a saxophonist, you played some patterns, some jazz pattern and stuff like that. This was during worship. People were like, "Oh, I love you, Lord, and I lift my voice." And this guy started playing. At that moment, what you played musically was
Beautiful.
correct, was fine.
Mhm.
But the person you are leading in worship was like, "Wow, Ezekiah, a good phrase you played. I love your phrase. Wow, nice phrase. During worship, at that moment, you've disconnected that person.
That's right.
The person, as a music lover, was actually appreciating your
Yeah,
music. Say,
yeah,
wow,
but
oh, man, and I like the riff. Oh, your ad lib there was amazing. You know, at that moment, the person was appreciating what you did, but you've disconnected
Ted.
the person you are trying to lead into the presence of God. And that's at that point you are like an enemy of God.
Wow, that's powerful.
Because the person you are trying to lead into
You
his
are dragging them
presence,
back. You push them and
you're
drag
dragging them back.
Yeah.
You drag them back. And for you to take them back to that
Again.
presence, back to that level to that stage you've created, you do a lot of work.
Wow.
So that really formed my playing. You know, the best of the best musicians, I tell you, they play simple.
Very
You
simple.
you cannot fault simplicity, especially when it's worship.
Hey.
Worship is not jazz session. I tell my fellow sax player, people who come to me, don't put everything you've practiced during worship session. No,
Yes.
no, that's not when to try that thing you've been practicing. It can distract the people
Yes,
you are trying to lead into the presence of God.
Yes.
Pastor Nat is a fantastic trumpeter.
Yes.
Amazing trumpeter. One of the best all over the world. I can tell you this, and you can check the music, check his songs, check his songs, check his trumpet solos in some of his songs.
Wow.
There's a particular song I was trying to listen to, and I was like, wow, this trumpet solo is amazing. But now check his music, simple.
Simply
And I've discovered also that the simplest songs are the most powerful songs ever.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Do you know why? Can I tell you why?
Why?
Because they are simple. You understand them. You don't need to go to a music school to understand good music.
Yeah.
Your ears will tell you. Your ears will tell you. Do you understand? Your ears will tell you. When you are making music, when you are in the studio making music, when your producer is making music for you, is putting a lot of thing in mind, is considering a lot of people, is considering people on the street, is putting in consideration people who are not musicians, but who enjoys music. People want to play your music, people want to play your songs on their way to work. They want your song to put them in that atmosphere before they get to the office, because they know, it's war room when they get there. So they just need that presence of God. Do you understand? People need to play. They need, I'm going home. I'm going for this meeting. I need God to go ahead of me. They need the kind of music. That's why some music are kind of, let me use the word trending. Or let me say, no. I cancel that word, not trending. So music are blessing lives. Lives. You can't get tired of them. Why? Because they are simple. You understand them. They minister to your spirit. You understand? Very complex music where you appreciate it, say, oh, well, this is good musical work, But for you to play it over and over again, you have to struggle.
Yes, I think those complex music or songs should be done where maybe during choir concerts, choir competitions, where you have those people
where
that
you have
want to hear those things.
musicians,
Yeah, where you
when
have
you have
all musicians within in one place,
Yeah.
But if you want to
You can
make
do
it
that.
open, just make it simple as much as you can. That's
Make
something
it
I've
simple,
learned myself over the
especially during
years.
worship.
Yeah, especially during worship.
Especially
I think
during worship.
another thing where people always want to do all those riffs during worship. They might have one fellow musician, just to show,
Yeah.
show them, say,
That's true.
as I
Okay.
play
Make I tell, make I
harmonic
show.
tell and say, I
melody,
drum.
Diminish
Let me
all
show
of
them.
them good way.
Yeah,
They
show
show
them.
them,
I will
you
show
know.
them.
They show them, Like
Okay.
I
Very true.
yeah, I had one experience some time ago. Hmm. Now, guess it was Wale Oni that was the as one of the audience, and I was the one playing keyboard.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Actually,
The great
I
Wale
mean, the
Oni.
great Wale Oni bros. So at first, of course, I was shaking because that was the first time I'm actually meeting him. Of course, I've heard his work and heard so many things about him. I'm here, he's facing me playing keyboard. Ah,
Hey.
what am I going to play? At the same time, like, my play, let me play what I can play.
Yes,
But I
sir.
was asking myself, I was in between like a crossroad, like, James, okay, are you trying to show him what he knows how to play, or you are trying to bring your uniqueness to the music itself? So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I was in a crossroad, but God helped me. I was able to conquer it. I was playing my normal small chords like that. I was just there. I didn't run ski. I don't want to see. I didn't use synth. No, I have.
We're humble.
Yet I know my boundaries.
Yes, sir.
You know?
Yes, sir.
And he walked up to me. I was surprised. I mean that changed. That also helped me change some of my, the way I think. And he said, wow, I love the way he played. In fact, I've had several people say that. Even in Matoki, he has come to me. I was like, James, I love
Man,
the way you play.
man,
I was like,
Juicy Pro.
please, I beg. Oh God, how can you be telling me
Is
this?
that
When I'm checking,
uniqueness?
yes,
Yeah, even though you
uniqueness.
really want to play with them, sorry, even
Mhm.
though you really want to play with like them,
Yeah,
let your uniqueness,
Yeah.
that's your own thing. Let it that
exactly.
signature, let it be there. And they would actually
Yeah.
value hearing your sound rather than you playing what they played before. They want to hear something different.
That's
They
true.
also want to enjoy
Yeah.
you play.
Mm.
So which was very smart, that smart thing you did.
Yeah,
I think that's
yeah.
what
Yeah.
he
So God
commended you
help me.
for.
Otherwise, I would have been playing scale, thinking that I'm trying to trick them.
Right, yeah,
Meanwhile, I did form my hand.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, so
yeah. It's
You know,
good.
can I can
Okay,
I
sure.
quickly can I quickly add to what James just said?
okay.
Sometimes this week, few days ago, a saxophonist came to me. I won't mention his name. Might be watching. Okay, sent me a message. Said, "Oh, bros, I need to improve my playing. This guy is a good saxophonist. He plays very well.
Wow.
Do you understand?" And he reached out. He said, "Oh, I need to improve my playing. Please, I would just like you, even if it's few time. I need to unlearn and relearn." Yeah, that was his word. And eventually, we arranged a meeting, and I told him, I said, "Look, you are a very good saxophonist. You play very well. When you play, I like what you play." And I told him, I said, he doesn't have. He was like, "Oh, I need too much thing. I need to learn this." And I said, "No, you don't need to learn anything. The only thing you need to learn now is to learn to know yourself,
Powerful.
to learn to hear yourself when you play."
Mm.
I told him, I said, "Now when you are playing, he's a musician, so I need to talk to him like a musician." I said, "When you play, you are hearing a lot of voices within yourself,
Yeah.
and you are confused. So when you hear Ezekiah play, or when you hear Mr. B play, you're like, oh, I've not started. I need to learn a lot." I said, "No, you are appreciating Ezekiah because Ezekiah is playing himself." I
Exactly.
told him I had that experience a few years back. I had that experience a few years back when I play with some of my friends, and I was like, oh, I'm not good enough. I need to play like them. Oh, I like the way they play. I like, and after each rehearsals, I will be sad.
Hmm.
Going on, I was like, oh, I need to work. I need to increase my rehearsal time. And I told him, I was bitter, and God saw my heart. And God told me something. He said, "Ezekiel, I can see your heart. I can see you are very sad." He now asked me, he told me, God said, "Do you know you appreciate those people because they are expressing yourself?" He said, "The moment you start expressing yourself, play what you hear, play what I put in your heart, they will appreciate you too.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, over the years, when I started doing that, these same people, when we meet and I play what I hear, what Ezekiah is hearing, not what they are hearing.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, I love this. I love your sound. I love this. I love the way you play. Oh, can I just play a little bit? Can I use your saxophone?
Yeah.
Thinking probably is my saxophone. It's not the sax. If I mention some of these names, I'm sure James will know them, but I won't mention names.
Wow.
One of them is in UK now, so maybe that will give you a
Hey.
little clue. And when that started happening, God reminded me, you remember what I told you that? And this was exactly what I told this young guy who came to me.
Wow.
When God takes you through a journey, is when God allows you to have a particular experience, whether good or not too good, is actually not for you, but for people coming behind you so that you can model them too.
Yes.
You can tell them you've gone through what they are going through and tell them what you did that made you who you are, so that when they do the same thing, they too we see who they want to see. Do you understand? And that is one of the challenges, one of the major challenges facing 21st century Levites.
That's right.
Okay. Wow. That was a brilliant. Yes. Yes. It's a major one.
Major one. Comparing yourself to your contemporaries. Our calling are different. Our assignments are different.
Yeah.
Our audience are different. Just the same way our voices are different.
Say that third part
So
again.
why
Our
are we
audience are
comparing
different.
ourselves? Our audience are different.
That's right.
We have 12 apostles minus Judas plus the one who replaced Judas. Their assignments were different. The nations they went to were different. Some came to Asia. Philip came to Africa. Paul, missionary all over, was sent to the Jews. Some were sent to the Gentiles. It would be a disaster if Apostle Peter started comparing himself with Paul. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So one of the major challenges facing 21st century, Levites are comparing ourselves to our contemporaries.
Yeah.
Do you understand? You will leave your primary assignment trying to meet up with the person you are comparing yourself with. And this person you are comparing yourself with is on his own lane.
Yeah.
He's running his own race.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
He's running his own race. It's like Dunsi comparing himself to Pastor Nat. Their assignments are different. Their music are different.
And they're
Their
both
audiences are different.
blessing people differently.
And they're both does it. And they're both blessing people, nation all over the world. So one of the major challenges is comparing ourselves. In that process, competition will come in. And where there's competition, the Spirit of God cannot thrive.
Yeah, cannot thrive there.
Flesh has come in. You start trying to outdo. God doesn't want us to outdo. He wants us to complement each other.
One another. Yeah.
Yeah. He wants us to complement each other. So the moment we stop comparing ourselves, with other people, leaving what God said we should do and looking at the other person's farm, green, we'll miss the assignment, we'll miss what God wants us to do.
Yeah. Though we are many, but we are one
So
body. We have different
yeah,
parts of the body. You should understand that for the fact that you are hand, I am
yeah,
leg, he is the
yeah,
stomach, is one body,
exactly.
but
Yeah,
functioning differently. And
That's
if you
right.
remove your hand to become the stomach, who becomes the hand? That hand is needed in the body. Yeah, so we need to understand that this is how it works.
very
This is how it works. So we'll just stop there because it's a whole lot to talk about that. Let's do a little bit of the Levites why we are here, because you said
good.
something very, very tangible last week. I held on to it. That was what I just spoke firstly when I came on. You spoke about the Levites being they're like, I want to like paraphrase what you said. They're like the intermediaries, the mediate. I don't want to say they stand as a mediator, but for the sake of this, they are like the mediating between man,
Link bridge.
exactly, the link bridge, like a ladder,
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
which the people would use to, easily access God through music
Are they the
or
Koyilim Bridge?
through. My
The
Sorry.
brother,
Stanford Bridge.
stop it, oh, stop it. So that was what I got last week, and I held on to it. Maybe you can actually just start from
Okay.
there.
Yeah. Okay. Now the Levites. Um, if I should take you
Mm-hmm.
back, the origin of the Levites, their assignment is to stand between God and the people. Is a
Okay.
clan of the priest. They are chosen people, priest. Okay.
Mm.
Now, among the Levites are people who administer sacrifices, burnt offerings, and stuff like that.
And why is the live disconnected? Was it the internet? Was it my internet? Or what happened? Okay. I don't know what happened, but let's see if we could gather a thing or two. All right. So maybe this was from my end. I just switched to the mobile data now, and let's see if it works. But I think it should be from here. It should actually be from here because the mobile data is working now. The internet on the TikTok went out. Good evening, Mr. Prince Lenny. Good evening, sir. Okay, so are you here now, the guests, our special guests? Is he here? Let's see if okay, I don't know if he's here already. Not yet. Okay, so we were talking about being unique in your own way because God has given us different talents. God has given all the Levites specific roles to take on, and you are meant to keep that role and take care of it. Please let's try not to leave what God has given us and look at another man's own and begin to covet and then abandon what God has given us, what God has placed. Scripture says He gave to some 10, some 5, some 3, it's 3 now, 2, and then 1. So let's be the best we can. Hi, welcome back.
Oh,
I'm so
goodness.
sorry. I think that was from my end,
I,
possibly because the
is it?
TikTok went off, but I have to switch to my data and
Okay.
now it's better.
I have to speak in tongues and speak to the network.
So what happened in 1960 will not repeat itself again.
So that will repeat
Yeah,
itself.
seriously.
Exactly.
Welcome back, sir.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
So I was saying before the lights went off. Now Jesus came, tore that um,
Veil.
blind, so
Yeah.
we can access God directly
Okay.
through Jesus.
Mm.
Now, but the office of the Levites are still active because we minister to God,
Mm-hmm.
though we don't do sacrifices anymore.
Yeah.
We do that through our art. Our arts are the sacrifices.
Mm.
Okay? So now, music being a very spiritual tool, and by the way, nobody invented music. No human being invented music. There had been music before God created Adam and Eve. They
Mm.
opened their eyes to know music.
Mm.
I'm sure God must have taught Adam the art of music. I'm very sure. Adam was a prophet, okay, the first prophet. So I'm sure God must have taught him the art of music, as in worship God through music.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Yeah, they were recording the Bibles, the early days, those who started playing instruments,
Mm-hmm.
who are skillful in instrument and stuff like that. So now, but now we don't do sacrifices, we don't bring goats, we don't bring sheep anymore. Our arts are the sacrifices. So
Mm.
now the musicians, the Levites, are those ones who are now ministering, who are leading people to offer their art through music.
Mm.
Okay, so now they are now like in between, they are like the bridge connecting people to God through music.
Mm.
That's why you can listen to a particular song and instantly you are connected.
Mm. Yeah,
Do you
that
understand?
happens.
Music is a very powerful tool.
Very powerful.
Even people in the world know that.
Mm.
Do you understand? When
Mm.
soldiers are going for war, there are kind of songs they will sing. They will forget their family at home.
Wow.
They will forget the baby. They will forget the newborn babies. They will forget their wife, the newly married wife. They will forget their father and their mother, and they will focus on that. So that tells you the power of music. And
Mm.
these are the things devil saw that God had given us
Mm.
that made him jealous and hate
Mm.
us. How
Mm.
can God
Wow.
entrust his office to men, to dust?
Mm. Can you imagine?
How can God entrust? Look at Lucifer, so
Mm-hmm.
beautifully made,
Yeah.
and God took his office
Yeah.
and gave it to
The
dust.
light
God,
himself. He
God,
did
God
himself.
has a way of shaming the wise.
I'm telling you.
You understand?
Mm.
So we as Levites, 21st century Levites, we are to connect. One of our job description is to connect the people to God. Do you understand?
Mm. Powerful.
Connect the people to God. Connect them through our music. That's why we're talking about simplicity in our music. The people must be able to understand the message of our music.
Yeah.
Do you understand? What we do shouldn't put them off, so that
Mm.
we can take them all to the presence of God.
Yeah.
And God will minister to them. And God will minister. A lot of people are giving their lives to God, to God. Nobody preached to them, but because they listen to particular music.
Yeah. True.
Do you understand? When we were in the world, there are some kind of music you listen to, some R&B you listen to, and your mind will just go haywire. That tells you the
The
power
power.
of sound, the power
Wow.
of music, this power of sound wave, the
Mm.
power of the wave that we're producing. There's a lot of power in what we are doing. God entrusts a lot of things into the 21st century Levites. A lot that we even don't know.
Yeah.
A lot.
True.
People can get by listening to you sing to them during these live shows, live talk. Do you understand? So there's no barrier in the realm of the spirit. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, yeah, you absolutely, absolutely. Two things you know, or one thing that I just want to add. There was a doctor who came on one time, and then she was talking about the power of sound, of the power of music. She said she's a psychologist and she works with people who are depressed, people who've got issues, you know, and then traumatic people and all that. So she said one of the tools they use in bringing these people back to themselves is through music. They just play this, what do they call it? As a particular form of music she mentioned, the
Classical.
soft music,
Classical.
yeah.
Yeah.
They play classical music for them. And before you know it, it works the magic. And another thing I been mentioned of last week when the network was misbehaving was something that I heard someone said about music, that it's a motivator. It's powerful. That there's a friend of his who loves to drive a lot. He loves to drive. That there's this particular music he plays when he's driving. And once he switches on that music, it's totally like it's like a wild beast on the road. You know, it will just set the
You
ball
see?
rolling, and then you just begin to act like very
You see?
aggressive. And so I was just reasoning to myself, like, music is really, really powerful, you know?
Oh,
Music
my
is
God.
powerful, it does a lot of things.
See, let me tell you, these instances you just mentioned are very, very accurate. And they are exactly what is happening to people. But they don't know. Music form and change the way people think, the way people reason, the way people see life.
Right.
People, I said something last week. I said most people don't remember even the title of the sermon, talk less of the key points of the sermon, but they will hardly forget the song that minister to
Yeah.
them during the service. Do you understand?
Yeah, I remember you said
Most
that too.
most most people in their day-to-day conversation, they will quote what a an artist said in a album. They'll say, "Oh, even Osadebe said in this track that life no easy, second chance no day." You know, you understand what I'm saying? That opportunity come but once. Now look at me. Now I remember the melody of the song. I remember what the song says because I was trying to prove a point. Now I
Yeah,
need music to validate that
that.
point.
Wow.
So that tells you the power of music.
Music.
Music is not natural. Music is not a creation of man. It's spiritual. Of course, you know,
Spiritual.
there's music in heaven. Okay?
Yeah,
There's
sure.
music in heaven. So, which means it's not natural. That's why the devil is using music, you know, a lot. And in this century, this 21st century, that is one of the major tasks. And that brings me to the expectation of the 21st century Levite artist. A lot is expected from
A
us.
lot.
God has entrusted a lot to us. God has entrusted a lot to us. We have people who have gone ahead. I heard you last week. You were saying people have paid prices. People have gone ahead of us. They've paved the way for us, which is very true. Which what you said is very true. People have paid prices. They've sacrificed a lot,
Yes.
you know, so that we can enjoy some of these things we're enjoying. And a lot is expected of us. In
Yeah.
fact, more work is expected of us because now devil the word we have now is not what we had, is not the word our fathers had it when they were in the field.